In a world where content fuels platforms, creators often find themselves chasing visibility, fair compensation, and meaningful recognition, while platforms grow wealthier and more powerful. But what does real empowerment for creators look like? Are platforms truly prioritizing the people who bring them to life? And what would it take to flip the script? It's another week to explore the stories, innovations, and big questions shaping the future of tech and creativity. Welcome to Tech Fashion Special with your host, Gabriella Michael. Joining us today on Tech Fashion Special is someone that is actually building a bold alternative. I'm talking about Mr. John Mark Agozue. He's the co-founder of Nuuviu, a platform redefining streaming by merging user-generated content, premium media, and of course, live interaction. Welcome to the show, John Mark.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to join you guys.
Thank you. It's pleasure as all ours. All right, so let's start obviously with the big picture. You know, when people get to hear talks about influencers or talk about creator economy, there's always this first thing that comes into their mind. They're always thinking about influencers. They're always thinking about viral videos. They're always talking about trends. How would you define the real creator economy today beyond the surface level buzz that we all know?
Well, we have to look at it as ecosystem, right? Kind of like a marketplace, classifying the creators as the sellers and then the viewers and the audience as the buyers. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So so in the sense, if the creators, which are the sellers, and the viewers, which are the buyers, and then the advertisers, which are the people that can be able to place ads onto the sellers' equipment. So classifying that or using that as an illustration, uh, the creator economy is an ecosystem of independent creators, right? Where
Yeah.
platforms, uh, tools, audiences. They reshape who controls the content or the revenue. So the cycle itself is a crypto economy, and I believe that is what crypto economy is.
Okay, so that's a beautiful way to explain it because most of the time, like I said, it's always more of the surface level. We're just talking about creators that are influencers. I mean, especially that age and era where anybody that has a tripod or has a mic is a creator right now. Anyways, now to the next question. Digital platforms have obvious. I'm sorry, were you saying something?
Yeah, no, it's fine. I wanted to say you try to put it as if the only like it's only the creators that is about the digital creator economy, but in the sense the platforms too are involved. So it's the advertiser, so it's kind of like a cycle.
Okay.
So if one is out, the other can't perform. If one is out, so yeah.
Wow, interesting. I think we'll have a lot to learn today. So moving on to the next, digital platforms have obviously made it easier to create and of course share content. But have they truly made it easier for creators to succeed? Now I'm trying to ask, how do you think the whole digitalization era that we have now has shifted both power and pressure in the creator economy?
Well, to be frank, yes, they've really made it easier to create content and share content easily compared to the old days whereby you have to part of high stream ideas, you have to all those gatekeepings. But it's not about like making it easier. Yes, they've made it easier, but they put pressure and yeah, it feels like the power was shifted to the creators, but looking at it from another perspective, you have to see it like it's like you give a child how will I put it, a lollipop that is a sweet, and then you knowing truly well that that sweet is going to like is meant to be like a distraction from the baby disturbing you. So the point is, yes, they made it easier for us, guys, the creators and the to access it, but then the pressure of constant creating, trying to beat the algorithm to trend, all those viral has made it a much more worse and even monetization, especially only the Africans. If you notice, platforms like YouTube, yes, they do monetize for Africans, but due to low paid ads, I find it in a situation whereby African creators don't even actually have the same monetization rate compared to the West. Talk about Facebook that doesn't even have monetization for Africa. TikTok, yes, there is a live payment method in TikTok, right? But then in their normal creators fund, they exempt African countries, and all those things put us into this limitation, like as if they're treating us like, okay, wait, yes, it's low return on investment, but then isn't it when you put in something and then it starts to grow and then it builds in to be much high return on investment? So it just treat us like a back end low risk we don't want to explore. So yeah, the point is that they made it easier, but the pressure and the power doesn't really make it look like it's really that easy to trend or
Okay,
enjoy the
so
content that
among
you
all
that you
of
share.
Okay. So among all of the things you noted, it pushes me to ask this question, especially in the aspect of monetization. Now we see the work, we see the effort, we see a lot of things that these creators put in. And I'm not just talking about those creating the content, but those who are actually advertising this content, like you earlier mentioned. We see how they try as much as possible to generate high engagement, to generate income, okay? But they still struggle to earn a sustainable income in all of this. Why do you think this disconnect continues to exist? And how can platforms be held accountable for this?
Well, talking about accountability, right? Well, we have to blame the system because a system whereby is built under a high market ad spend analysis. They, I wouldn't blame them focusing on the player on the market that spends high, which is the West or the Asia or Middle East compared to Africa. So the system itself is based on advertising market spend. So if Africa doesn't really give high return on investment based on the advertisement spend, so you wouldn't blame them for not increasing the monetization rates given to us. So now the the uh, the whole story is if we can be able to like promote or give like sort of increments in the advertisements being spent by Africans, then there's a possibility of we African creators be able to have access to that bigger pie. That is the high monetization method compared to the West. So, but that is one way to look at it in terms of the system that supports ad this thing. But another system which gives not only based on the location because it's mainly based on location for the ad, another system that gives subscription or other style of monetization method. Like we Africans, we've already coped. For example, TikTok. Yes, they don't have the payments method for Africans, but we've coped through the live streaming interaction, the payment, the giftings and stuff. So now we Africans, we've learned in a way to cope. So now, not only depending on that advertising method, there is meant to be another way, which is what Nuuviu is trying to to bring to the market. If you can, like, for example, you don't have to wait or meet a threshold for you to earn. You control your earning rate, right? So as a creator, once there is advertisement on the platform, you deserve to get a share, right? But then you have to control what you earn, thereby investment pass kind of what new view brings to the market. You have to, you know, 25% for every creator. That is a fair price. I mean, fair compensation compared to you have to get this thousand subscribers or this thousand or million views for able to make $0.00. So it doesn't make sense compared to that aspect.
At all. I
It,
understand.
it, it- compared to what Newview brings, yes, with the market and the extra monetization source, I think that is Newview, we can be able to cater that if really like if you meet up with the trend. So I just that's what uh, I think. the problem is.
Okay, how interesting. When we actually were planning for this conversation, or when I was actually planning for this conversation, I didn't actually think you're gonna lean on the creator side, okay? Because this is more like you advocated for the creators, which brings me to ask if, from your own perspective, okay, what does fair compensation then mean actually for creators? What does it truly look like for you? And who do you think should decide that value?
Well, fair compensation, normal, or to be frank, is much more. It's supposed to be the creators that decides the value, right? Because it's not meant to be platform because the creators are the one that provides the content. The creators are the one that provides the engagement, the views, and all those stuff. So now, the fair compensation is meant to be a very well transparent ad revenue share. Like yeah, you post content and then of course you get monetization, but then peanuts compared to what is spent to make that content, right? So fair compensation should be transparent, data driven share of all revenues, be it subscription, ad revenue, sponsorship, a lot down to the local market, that is we, the Africans. So it doesn't have to be biased only for the Westerns, or this is for the Asians, or this is for the Europeans, and then this is for the Africans. Everybody should like get the same thing because at the end of the day, it's almost the same. In fact, it is the same kind of content that we produce. The only difference is that the one side of uh, one side of the world is assumed to be to have low infrastructure, or perhaps the stereotypic mindset of yes, they are underdeveloped, so they don't have to like receive such amount of compensation, right? So my belief is the creators should control the value, right? Then the platform itself should be able to work in hand and give what is meant to be given to the creators. So by then trying to adjust the advertisers to actually spend more on those areas, and everybody is a win-win.
Interesting. So now I want to pick your brain a bit, or let's say I want to put you in a tight spot. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay. Is the way you said the yeah like very subtle or so. Are you sure you're okay if I put you in a tight spot now?
yeah, I'm open to.
You're open to it. So okay, so if you could shut down one global streaming platform actually for maybe for just a day, okay? Let me leave it at for a day, just to prove a point. Who's getting unplugged?
YouTube.
He said I should wait.
It's not that I have so much. No, they did a very great job, but their monopolization
Yeah.
has ruined most of the things. It's ruined most of the. Okay, take example for the film industry, Hollywood.
Mm.
I won't blame them because now, compared to a system of making a movie, right? I'm giving an example, Nollywood industry, right? A system of making a movie. Nollywood makes movies so fast, under 1 week. They get to make a movie, script, they write the script, shoot it, edit it, produce, and then upload. So data is YouTube. Now, there's already a set monetization for YouTube. So obviously, they are catering to the global audience, right? So now they have to make the money. Now, looking at it, it looks to be a big money because, of course, it's dollar and dollar naira rate exchange fluctuates. So it looks like it is a big money, but it's not really a big money. So when you split it to the individual aspects, you get to find, oh no, it's not really a big money. Yeah, probably if only the producer should take the money, yes, it feels like a big money. But truly, what about the actors? What about the director? What about the designers? What about the set producers and all those things involved in making the movie? You get to see it's not really a good pay. But if a platform is dedicated for such things like this is movie, they meant to upload movie, which I thought Netflix would have been when they entered the African
Yeah.
market, but they didn't. They had to be selecting because it's their money, it's an investment. They don't get to like invest. It's something that you know it won't return, and then you know all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, you are trying to survive, right? I guess you have to put head in whatever gives pay at least because in Africa, small bread is better than none, right? So at the end of the day, we lose our worth. But I believe Nuuviu could change that once you go into the market. Even Showmax is trying, but they're not really up to that standard, right? But I think Nuuviu could
So
change
you're
as
still
such once you enter the
you,
market.
you still haven't answered my question though. It looks as if you're trying to run away
I
from
did.
the tight spot. No, you haven't. You didn't mention the platform yet. I said if there's one particular platform, streaming platform, that you think should be shut down for just a day, what platform would that be?
I did mention it, but you just wanted me to repeat it, and probably they'll come out to buy me off. I said YouTube. I said YouTube.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm pretty sure a lot of
Yeah.
Nollywood producers will not sit well with you on that one. They might literally
Yeah.
come
That's
for you.
that's why I use. Yeah, that's why I use Nollywood as an
Okay,
example, right?
as an example, yes. Okay, so YouTube will be unplugged if you had your way. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes. You know,
Okay.
the process of hybridization has made it really hard. You know, if YouTube like expands general, it's not only a specific industry. It caters to content creators too. So I wouldn't say, but looking at it in another aspect, that's the only way. And it's for Nollywood. I think YouTube is the
Okay.
best option.
All right, so let's switch back to our major questions, okay? I'm done putting you in a tight spot. Anyways, let's talk about Nuuviu this time. Nuuviu, I understand, emphasizes emerging global trends with local culture. Now, I'd like you to tell us what inspired that direction and how does it reflect in the way creators and audiences engage on the Nuuviu platform?
Uh, well, we've seen most of the creators or I say investors, I mean founders, when they create something specified for only Africans, they believe to be, yeah, it's for Africans, it's only for Africans, African this, African that. By the end of the day, it feels like as if we are isolating with the Africans from the world. Yeah, but that is not the situation here. Yes, we are creating it for Africans, but we're not isolating us from them. They're already most of the things are already working. In fact, it works for them, although maybe not perfect, but it works for them. We take those things that are working, like algorithm, the monetization, the ad rate, and then we bring it towards the Africans and make it work for us too. So at the end of the day, we take most of the things that work for them and then bring it down to us, make it work by aligning with their own style of uh, strategy. So at the end of the day, we don't isolate, right? We merge, we build to get up to the proper standard and not to be underdeveloped.
Okay. So, talking about your ideal world, what should the relationship between a platform and its user or its creator in this in context actually look like? Should it be something of partnership? Should it be based on ownership or something entirely different?
It's true partnership, true partnership. It can be ownership. Because if you talk about ownership and then you start thinking about, oh, it's mine, the platform you say, well, you posted it on my platform, so it's mine. So you get to see that it's kind of like uh, a bit of difference mindset. But if it is true partnership, you get to see that the fair revenue share is done, and then the policy decisions will be patterned based on the kind of creators you acquire. You can't just acquire
Okay.
this creator and then put out this type of policy because you own the platform. No, it's true partnership. That is the main thing to focus.
All right. So, there are few things that a lot of creators have actually noticed that pose as a threat to the future of create streaming platforms and content or the future of creativity as a whole. But I'm going to talk about two, and I'd like you to let me know which do you think is the most dangerous feature to the future rather of creativity. There's the aspect of copyright laws And then there's the other aspect of cloud culture. Among these two, what do you think is what's more dangerous to the future of creativity?
Well, the both, looking at it in a very generalization way, both is a threat. The both both to be a threat, right? Talk about copyright. If you reduce the rate of copyright compared to us, this Africa that loves everything illegal, these illegal websites and stuff. So you get to see that is a dangerous threat to the IP laws or content creators or movie producers that owns such thing. So not both is a threat, but when you talk about cloud culture, that one affects the mindset, right? You always believe in variety. Okay, like this morning I was scrolling through content, right? So I came across this video that talked about there's this statement, variety compression effect, right? There is this trend that is happening. The original owner of the trend, right, created the trend, took time, edited the video, did the concepts and everything and posted. Now, because of the culture of virality, that is everything is trending, so you have to jump on the trend and then people will start to repost it, yes, they repost it. But at the end of the day, they're not really giving the credit to the real owner of the video. And then because of the way algorithm works, most of the algorithm in other platforms, once you like a video that has such trend, other people videos start popping out, and thereby the real owner of the content or the video itself lose is lost in the midst of the variety chase. You understand? So the point is both is a threat. Not like it's kind of like 50-50, but deep down in mindset, you have to avoid cloud culture because everybody have to build something of their legacy. Kind of like video creation should be the legacy. Market, talk about business. You have to make sales. You have to be online. Video creation, be something of your own legacy. So I think both poses as a threat, but that caution should be uh, put much more into it so that to avoid such thing. But also, IP laws should also be maintained, especially in Nigeria, that everybody likes piracy, and that is really bad.
In a nutshell, find your niche, be consistent in what you do, and pretty much go for the platform that gives you what you want, right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. John Mark Agozue. Of course, he is the co-founder of Nuuviu. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I learned a lot of things because I'm beginning to think about jumping into the music space. I want to do rap. So don't I look like it?
Music,
Yeah, music.
music space.
Yeah.
Yes, singer. What
Yeah,
type
I
of
know. I'm a
songs?
rapper. I'm a rap
Like,
artist. I rap. I
wow,
don't look like it. Why are
wow.
you so shocked?
Nah,
Don't I look like it?
no,
Okay,
it's
things
not
like
really
this.
about the look. I mean, that female
It's
singers
so why are you
that
so
look like you
surprised?
that are actually good. I won't
Okay,
say that
so
I'm
don't worry.
surprised. I mean,
Okay,
it might
go
actually
on.
fit you. I mean, you just have
You
to drop the
see?
first demo and then if it captures, then we
All
go
right, so
from there.
let's say on the next episode of Tech Fashion Special, if you're watching this, maybe I might drop a few lines. But anyways, it's been a great pleasure having this conversation with you, Mr. John Mack. I hope you do have a pleasant
Thank you
day.
very much.
Thank you
You
very
too.
much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that wraps it up on Tech Passion Special for this week. Do ensure to stay innovative in all that you do. I'll see you next time on Tech Passion Special. My name remains Gabriella Michael.